Curse continues, MLL training camp starts up, and the NLL playoffs are looming. This is Lax Unlimited Weekly. If you didn't watch it, Masters are finally over, thank God. That is the longest, what does it start, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? All you had to do was tune in at 6:45 to see who won it. Sergio came out on top, got the green jacket, his first major win. Is that what they call it in the golf biz? Whatever, Sergio won it, overtime, playoff hole, whatever they call it. Let's get into lacrosse. After that, we had 2 games on at night. But first, the curse continues. Penn State, my boys, took a tough loss at Maryland on senior day. Rambo had 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists. Connor Kelly with 5 points on top of that. Now that makes 8 new number ones. We'll get into the rankings later. But down goes Penn State. Whatever, we'll take it. Lose now, get it out of the way. Up next, Duke, Notre Dame. Duke was at home. They reversed their role against UNC. Came out on top, never looked back. Took that one 11-8. Huge win for Duke and the boys. Then we had last night UNC versus UVA, a very emotional game. Zed Williams showed up in the second quarter. I think that's why UVA let this one slip. 15-12. Even though he came in the second quarter, he had 3 goals and 1 assist. Check out this bounce pass by him. Assist of the year for sure, maybe of all of lacrosse. Going over the Big Ten, the other game that was on last night, we had Ohio State knocking down the Blue Jays 13-9. That's what I like to see. Here's a little fun note. Jack Jensky, he is a sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. He had 4 goals and 3 assists. He only has 13 points on the year. 7 of them came last night against the Blue Jays. What better way to do that? And they changed the camera angle. Did you see that on the Big Ten? It wasn't from like they were shooting it from the Empire State Building. They were like actually on the field. Big kudos to that. We had Rutgers and Michigan on Saturday. Big win for them. They took down the Blue 14-7. Long Island, shout out Mullins, killing it. He had 9 points, 8 goals, and 1 assist. Freshman sensation with 46 points on the year. Then we had Army, sneaky Army, rolling still. Big win. Took down BU 11-10. They're 6-0 in the Patriot League. Up next for them is Navy. It's Navy Week, Pete. And now jumping in, Hofstra Turnpike boys. I'm not giving them too much press because they're my new number 1, and I don't want them, you know, reverse that curse. Byrne crushed it, had another 5 points, 4-1. Concannon, 50% on the day with 9 saves. And game of the week. You want to dive into? No, let's do the rankings. My rankings. Rooney's rankings. I'm keeping it quiet though. I got Army at 5, Maryland 4, Hughes 3, Penn State 2, and then 1. I'm keeping it quiet. Hofstra Turnpike boys, keep it quiet. So the women's. On to the women's. Same old story, complete opposite of the men's side. We have Maryland at number 1 still. They crushed it. They're like the women's UConn team. 20-8 over Rutgers. We had last week's game of the week, UNC Louisville. They topped Louisville UNC with McCool with 8 points, 7 goals, 1 assist. Pretty cool to see Cuse and Virginia Tech going into overtime. Seeing the powerhouses shaking up a little bit. Watch out, Maryland. We got Mary Rahal, redshirt freshman with the game time overtime winner, minute 23 into overtime. Stony Brook keeps rolling. The Old Miller, all these names are ridiculous. Old Mill sisters had 15 points combined. They beat Binghamton 20-4. Pretty good stuff. Games of the week for the men. I got 2 because of course it's Army Navy week, but my big one, and I need this to happen because it might, if they win, they might put Hopkins out of the tournament. Penn State Hopkins, let's go Penn State. If Hopkins loses this, they're not out, but I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a hard one to get into the Big Ten championship, so we'll see. Big Ten tournament, I should say. So I got Army beating Navy for sure. Let's go Army. I got Penn State over Hopkins, definitely. Let's see if they can knock them off. And for the women's, I have Cuse and UNC. I'm gonna stick with the Tar Heels on this. These, it's gonna be a good one, but we'll see what happens. UNC on top. NLL playoffs are looming right around the corner. We'll highlight some games. Chris Hogan picked the wrong night to sign with the Black Wolves. Let's just say that. The Swarm dominated 21-13. We had Randy's stats going off. 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points in that game. Back-to-back games, 21 goals by the Swarm. They're the real deal. They're clinched, they're in, punched their ticket. Then we had the Rush beating Vancouver 16-12. Mark Matthews still doing his thing with 7 points, 3 goals, 4 assists. Rumor has it he had pink eye. Yeah, rumor had it he had pink eye. I mean, I guess he's still seeing. Calgary over Buffalo. Curtis Dixon, 10 points. He had 4 goals, 6 assists. With that being said, Dixon, we have a race for leading point scorer. We have Dixon with 96, Matthews 95, and Corey Small with 92. I think there's might be 2 or 3 games left. So that'll be an interesting race to see what happens with that. We're gonna bounce back. East, playoffs, what it looks like. Pete, put it up here. We got Georgia, Toronto, New England, my guess. Those 3 are gonna be in. Then on the West, Rush are definitely in, they're clinched. Then we have Colorado, and then Calgary and Vancouver battling it out for that last seed. Vancouver's back a game and a half, just a half game. Half game over Calgary, so we'll see what happens there. And that's it, that's all I got. Oh, product of the week, look at these fancy new little cleats here. The Nike Prism cleats, limited edition, very low quantity, very low, very hard to get. I know they look plain old white cleats, but check this out on the bottom. So we got the chrome accent on the bottom, Nike Prism cleats. Even the swoosh, you gotta look close, it might be hard on camera there, but they got the chrome accent, very flashy, very nice. Limited time only, that's the product of the week. They'll be available this week, so keep an eye out. They might sell out like the rock shoes. That's it, that's Lax Unlimited Weekly. Sergio won the Masters. NHL playoffs, in honor of NHL playoffs. Let's just say I played NHL 17 for the first time yesterday against my little brother Pat. Took him down 4-3, Pittsburgh, no big deal. I even got the picture to prove it. 4-3. He's gonna say I won on a bogus goal, but win's a win, we'll count it. Playoff beard starts, that's why I trimmed it up. Did a practice run with the podcast with Schreiber. He's the new secret host. Cat's out of the bag on that one. I posted it on my Instagram. Keep an eye out for later this week. We might release an episode. Like, share, subscribe, comment below your picks. And by the way, Connor, you're in the crease. See you next week.